It is now my distinct pleasure to introduce the recipient of the World Trade Center St. Louis 2019 Global Ambassador Award. As with years past, the World Trade Center has dedicated a tree in the name of the award winner on Government Hill near the World's Fair Pavilion in Forest Park. The trees represent the effort made by each recipient to grow St. Louis's image as a globally connected community. Joining me on stage, Tim and Andrew, to help me hand out this award. I am sure most of you are familiar with Emerson, at least the name, but here's a little history of Emerson in our community. Emerson was founded in 1890 in St. Louis, Missouri, as a maker of electric motors and fans. Over the past 130 years, from its global headquarters in Ferguson, Emerson has grown from a regional manufacturer into an $18 billion global technology company, engineering, manufacturing. They are a leader with more than 200 manufacturing facilities all around the globe. Now, at the end of the 1970s, Emerson began to develop business in China through its first technology transfer project. They were, in fact, one of the very first U.S. companies to enter China, leading the way for many other local and U.S. companies seeking international markets as a way of growing business. Today, China is one of Emerson's fastest growing business regions in the world. As the Chinese economy has grown, so has Emerson's presence and success in China through sales, through manufacturing, and their innovation and solution centers that serve the unique needs of the Chinese market. Now, since 2002, China has been one of Emerson's largest markets, second only to the United States. As China recognizes the 40-year anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic and commercial relations, so too Emerson celebrates their 40 years of success in the Chinese market. Through its global pioneering leadership, Emerson has enhanced the image and exposure of St. Louis on an international scale. Ladies and gentlemen, it is our honor to present the 2019 World Trade Center Global Ambassador Award to Emerson, and accepting on behalf of Emerson is their Chief Operating Officer, Steve Pelch.
You know, thank you all for being here today. It's such a marvelous opportunity and recognition. Debbie, thank you again for hosting 15 plus years. I'm pleased and so honored to be here on behalf of all of Emerson employees to accept this very prestigious award. You know, I'll begin by thanking Tim and Andrew for the World Trade Center St. Louis for the wonderful work that they have done to help stimulate, be it businesses, government organizations, civic organizations, to help grow the prosperity of this great St. Louis region for all of us, both here and abroad. Tim, thank you very much. I'd also like to acknowledge our government officials here today who set the canvas to make this all possible. And I think it's emblematic of what a great city it is as we look back at some of the former government officials that are here with us today that were already acknowledged. So I appreciate you all coming today. Mayor Slay, former Governor Holden, and others. I also noticed that each day out of office, you look years and years younger. How can that be, huh? But again, that is emblematic of this great city. Mayor Lyda Cruson isn't here today, but I'd like to thank her and her staff. Sam Page, thank you very much, County Executive, for being here. Rodney Krim of the St. Louis Economic Development Partnership, thank you and your staffs for all you do to enable us to be able to grow not only our St. Louis business, our U.S. business, but also businesses abroad. You make it all possible. I'd also like to acknowledge our special guests who traveled from afar, some from Chicago, actually. How about that, Jake? The baseball theme is only appropriate after this weekend, but Jacob Parker, not to name any names, from Chicago, but Senior Vice President for the U.S.-China Business Council, returns to the U.S. after many years in Asia and abroad. Consul General Zhao Jin, thank you for coming to be with us today. And David Rank, again, many years in foreign service, and then now with the Cohen Group. Emerson is proud, as Debbie and others have said, to call St. Louis home. We planted our roots 130 years ago. We've had to remake ourselves, keep ourselves relevant, not only on a U.S. stage, but on a global stage. And we've tried to grow ourselves to be a manufacturing and technology leader, both here in the U.S. and abroad. We span the globe with major operations in all the major world areas. And if I look at last year's sales, over half of our sales originated outside the U.S. And that's going to continue to be that way as we grow both our U.S. sales and our global sales. As you saw in the video and as you heard as well, we entered the Chinese market 40 years ago on a technology transfer. And hopefully some of the aspects that you'll gather from that is the stick-to-itiveness, the commitment, and the trust. And I know these will be things that our panelists will discuss later today, even these times of challenge. As we step back, we look at the betterment over a long period of times for all parties involved. Today in China, we have over $2 billion in annual sales, 11,000 employees, and over 30 major manufacturing, production, research, and development facilities across the country. In fact, this past April, I was in Suzhou, China, opening up a research and development organization that deals with heating, ventilating, air conditioning, and the refrigeration markets. And if you think about that, that's all about using those technologies, but using them in a responsible, energy-efficient manner. And I checked back on that research and development facility, and since our April opening, we've had over 550 customer visits that have worked with us in co-creating designs that will meet and serve those local markets. That's incredible for us to work together, just like you heard here on our presenting sponsor and Dr. Tim Eberlein, on trying to create solutions, in this case, in research and development for cancer. I hope our employees in Suzhou never have to use that hospital, except maybe to give the birth to a loved one. So that's great to see that. You know, the research and development that was done in Suzhou is just one of our most recent examples of collaboration. And those collaborations have to begin with our customers, but they're also enabled with government organizations and industry subcommittees to meet the needs of the changing, evolving worlds and to make sure that all of us do that in the most responsible manner. Emerson's philosophy has always been in country, for country. Even though we're a very global company, we like to be local in our solutions. And in fact, if I look at those sales in China, the great majority of those products that we sold in China were designed in country, manufactured in country, sold in country, engineered in country, and supported in country. And that's a philosophy that we take throughout the world. We work hard, as I said, to tailor our unique global technologies to meet the market-specific needs, wherever those are. And just like here in St. Louis, we try to give back to those communities in which we operate. And those will be financial contributions, but I can also say it's the time and the talent of our organizations giving back to those less fortunate in the regions and the localities in which they do. So I commit to you on behalf of Emerson, we're going to continue to grow our business in the U.S., in St. Louis, and abroad for the prosperity to bring all of that technology and partnership back to our home here in St. Louis for many years to come. So on behalf of Emerson, thank you again, Tim, the World Trade Center of St. Louis, the long heritage that you've had of supporting business, our facilities, our government organizations, and making this all possible for the prosperity of our organization and all the business leaders that are gathered here today for St. Louis to make this region a great region to live and to do business in. Thank you again. Enjoy the balance of the day.
Thank you again, Steve, and to the entire Emerson team, and thank you, Emerson, for always being a very generous corporate citizen to all of us here in the St. Louis region.